8. That is the number of times Cape Verde tried to qualify for this World Cup. 8 campaigns, 8 cycles of hope and heartbreak, over 30 years. And tomorrow, for the first time in their history, the Blue Sharks step onto a World Cup pitch. Most football fans cannot point to them on a map. That is about to change. What you're about to hear is not just a football story. It's about a group of men who chose a harder road because identity matters more than convenience. About a captain who gave 36 years and 94 caps to a dream that nearly never arrived. And about a game on June 26, Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia, that could mean more than anyone is currently suggesting. This is the story nobody is telling. Let's fix that. Let's start with that number. 8. Cape Verde have been trying to qualify for the World Cup since the 1990s. 8 qualification campaigns. Each one built the same way, months of preparation. Matches across a brutal African qualifying group, hope that builds slowly and then evaporates, usually in a single result. The worst one was 2022. Cape Verde reached a final stage of AFCON qualification, the stage before the playoff round. One result away, one win away from a chance at their first World Cup. They didn't get it. Think about what that does to a squad. Players who built entire international careers around a single dream, told for the 8th time that it wasn't their year. Some of those players never played for Cape Verde again. Some of them retired, having never experienced what's happening tomorrow. The players who stayed and kept believing, who showed up for a 9th campaign when every rational calculation said the outcome would be the same, those are the players you'll see walking out against Spain tomorrow. 8 attempts. And now, finally, they are here. But to understand what this moment really means, you need to know about one man specifically. Because his story is the story of this entire team. Ryan Mendes, 36 years old, 94 caps for Cape Verde. He made his international debut over 15 years ago. Back then, the 2026 World Cup was not even announced. He has played for Cape Verde through qualification failures, through tournament exits, through the years when nobody in European football was paying attention to a tiny island nation in the Atlantic. Tomorrow, when he stands in that tunnel and hears the noise of a full stadium for a World Cup match, it will be one of those moments that football occasionally produces that goes completely beyond the result. Whatever happens against Spain, and Spain are one of the best sides in this tournament, Ryan Mendes' presence on that pitch is already the ending of a 30-year story. 94 caps, 8 campaigns, 1 World Cup. Watch him tomorrow. And here's the thing, he's not the only one in that squad who made a sacrifice to be here. In fact, most of the squad made a sacrifice that most footballers would never consider. Here's something most people don't know about Cape Verde's squad, and it changes everything. The majority of their players were not born in Cape Verde. Their goalkeeper was born in the Netherlands. Key midfielders were born in Portugal and France. Several squad members hold dual nationality and had real pathways, not guaranteed, but real, into European international football. They chose Cape Verde instead. Now think about what that actually cost them. Choosing Cape Verde meant choosing harder qualification campaigns, fewer televised matches, less exposure to the scouts and coaches that make careers at elite clubs. In some cases, it almost certainly slowed down their development. In some cases, it probably cost them money and opportunities they'll never get back. They chose it anyway. Because when your grandmother came from Praia, when your father grew up on Mindelo, when you heard those islands spoken about your whole life as home, even though you were born in Rotterdam, football isn't just sport. It's proof that those islands exist, that their story matters, that 525,000 people deserve to be on the biggest stage in the world. This is something you see across African football at this level. Morocco's semi-final run in 2022 was built on the same model: players born in France and Belgium, raised in European academies, who chose to represent their heritage. Senegal, the Ivory Coast. The best African squads increasingly combine European technical development with the motivation of people who have something to prove. Cape Verde has built exactly that. And that combination, quality plus identity-driven belief, is not something you should dismiss lightly. So let's talk about the group, because this is where the story either ends early or gets its fairy tale. Group H: Spain, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, Cape Verde. Every pundit has written them off. Against Spain and Uruguay, they're probably right. But June 26th is where the story lives or dies. Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia. Cape Verde's path is simple: lose to Spain, lose to Uruguay, beat Saudi Arabia. 3 points. In a 48-team World Cup where the best third-place teams advance, that is a real pathway through. Saudi Arabia in 2026 are not the side that shocked Argentina 4 years ago. Their squad has aged, tactical coherence less certain, playing thousands of miles from home. Cape Verde are compact, disciplined, defensively organized, and every player in that squad knows exactly what it took to get here. 30 years of trying produces a motivation you cannot manufacture. Verde win that June 26th game. That is my call. But here is what nobody else is saying about what that would mean. Cape Verde advancing would not just matter for Cape Verde. It would matter for African football. 9 African nations are at this World Cup for the first time. Genuine critical mass. Not 1 or 2 famous names carrying a continent's hopes. 9 squads, 9 stories, 9 chances to rewrite the narrative. Morocco already did it in 2022. But Morocco are known now. Hakimi is a global star. The surprise factor is gone. Cape Verde are different. The debut nation. The team nobody covered. Nobody predicted. If they advance, the effect travels forward in time. The next generation of Cape Verdean kids growing up in Portugal, the Netherlands, France watching their country on the biggest stage, they'll know something previous generations didn't. That it's possible. That choosing the harder road leads somewhere real. And the next player deciding between a guaranteed European cap and a Cape Verde shirt, they'll have this tournament to point to. That is what sport is supposed to do. Cape Verde plays Spain tomorrow at 5 p.m. UK time. They will probably lose. Spain are one of the best organized sides in world football, and Cape Verde are playing their first ever World Cup match. The scoreboard may not be kind. Watch how they defend. Watch the shape. Watch the belief in how they move. Watch Ryan Mendes, 36 years old, 90 for caps, 30 years of waiting, standing in a World Cup stadium for the first and possibly only time in his career. Because whatever that scoreboard says, the story of how 525,000 people finally got to this moment is already written. The journey is already complete. What happens next is just the bonus. But June 26th is where I want you to be. Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia. That's the real game. That is where the story either gets its fairy tale ending or becomes one of football's great near misses. I believe Cape Verde win that game. Come back on the 27th of June and tell me if I was right.